It's never too early to start preparing for hurricane season in the Low Country, and the experts at Mappus Insurance can make sure your home is protected from the elements. Andrew Muller is here to discuss wind and hail insurance. And Andrew, I'm glad that we were talking about it because this is very, very confusing, this whole wind and hail policy. So first of all, just describe or define to me what it is.
Certainly. So, I mean, everyone has to have wind and hail insurance.
We all need it.
Everyone needs it.
Okay.
I mean, if there's a hurricane or a tornado, you want to make sure you have coverage on your homeowner's policy. It just gets really confusing because some homes are in what's called the wind and hail pool. And so people get really confused here, thinking whether we get a lot of people saying, oh, we don't need wind and hail, we're not in the wind pool. Well, you do need it.
Okay.
It's just you're just not in the wind pool.
So when you're buying your policy, wind and hail, even if you're not in this wind pool,
correct,
the wind and hail policy, is it something additional or is it part of
it should be part of the main homeowner's policy, correct.
Okay, so this wind and hail pool, what does that mean?
Certainly. So there's basically an invisible line. In Mount Pleasant, it's easy to define. If you're east of Highway 17, so closer to the water side, then you're in the wind and hail pool. If you're on the other side, you're not, and that can completely change the way you purchase your insurance.
Now, the price difference on this, is it a big difference if you're in that pool versus not being in it?
Absolutely. If you have a separate wind and hail policy, you're probably paying 30, 40, 50% too much.
You're paying me, because I know we're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but your coverages are not as good as if you were with a company that provides the wind and hail coverage within the homeowner's policy. And as an example, we had clients that, or we have a new client, that they had a separate homeowner's policy with USAA and then a wind and hail pool policy. They had a $50,000 wind and hail deductible. They had no idea. We moved them from a $50,000 deductible to a $5,000 deductible and cut the premium in half, save them almost $5,000.
Wow, so it'd be good, because I'm still slightly confused, I'll be honest.
Just call Mappus.
I know. So it'd be good if we think we have a certain policy, we're probably spending too much. It's great just to call you and you can walk us through this and say, this is what you have, this is how we can make it better.
So the best way to look at it is if you have a separate policy that says Wind and Hail Insurance Association on it, then you have a separate wind policy and you're most likely paying way too much for far less coverage. Okay,
are there any alternative options to this wind pool?
Absolutely. I mean, that's all the companies we work with are all the alternative options. So we have, over 10 different companies that could write with wind and hail, including the front beach of Isle of Palms and Sullivan's. We have clients that we have homeowners carriers that will write the wind and hail and hurricane insurance in the homeowner's policy, and it can save them thousands.
Wow. Repeat that.
It can save them thousands.
People like that. So someone watching right now, who is a good candidate to talk to you, said if you have that separate insurance, you absolutely need to be
So if you're on any of the barrier islands, Isle of Palms, Kiowa, Seabrook, Sullivan's, you're in the wind pool.
James Island, I know.
Even parts of James Island, parts of Mount Pleasant. But the barrier islands is simple. You're in zone 1 of the wind pool. And the rates for the wind pool in zone 1 are very, very expensive. Parts of east of Highway 17 in Mount Pleasant, you're in the wind pool. And then on James Island, when you get off the connector, going towards Folly, you're in the wind pool. So if you live in those areas, then you most likely have a wind and hail pool policy, in which case we can combine that with your homeowner's policy. Not just save you money, but that is important, but ensuring your home
And you won't
better.
have a $50,000 deductible. That's crazy. Why are you paying for that? Such a pleasure. Where can people find you and book an appointment?
Sure. So we're in our new office now on 710 Johnny Dodds here in Mount Pleasant. But you can find us on the web at mappusinsurance.com. Call the office at 843-763-4200.
All right, Mappus Insurance, saving you money and clarifying all that confusion. I do understand a little bit better. Thank you.
Just call the office.
Let them do it. All right, we've got much more Low Country Live in just a moment, so stick with us.